directing traffic, brings Ayton up. Paul with Zubats on him now. 5 to shoot. Paul trying to shake the big man, does so, lets it fly, and hits Chris Paul. The 37-year-old future Hall of Famer delivering in the clutch.
Suns, the masters of the mid-range, they tie this series out west 1-1. So now the East and West 4-5 matchups, both tied 1 game apiece. Chris Miles here with Smitty for Playoff Central Live. We'll bring you the press conferences as they happen for both teams, both the coaches and star players. So let's start with the pivotal moment in this game. It was the end of the first half and the beginning of the second half. Phoenix Suns went on a 19-3 run, took control then, never let it go.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they ended the half extremely well, but I thought in that third quarter, give a lot of credit to Devin Booker. Kevin Durant had played phenomenal all game, knocked down shots, but Devin Booker went on a run of his own, and that third quarter was just fantastic. And yes, they got a chance to tie it up at half, and I thought defensively they got much, much better. Double team Kawhi Leonard a lot. Great game by Russell Westbrook, but I think this desperation game, Devin Booker and the Phoenix Suns, their entire team came out, and they played extremely well to get this win. Clippers could have won this, but if they would have, it would have been a really uphill battle for the Phoenix Suns, and I think that's why you saw the desperation play and the great play from most of those guys.
You mentioned Devin Booker, what he did in that third quarter, because it felt like it could have tipped either way at that point. He had 18 of his 38 in the third quarter, also ended the game with 9 assists. If you want to talk about the best kind of game you can have, that's exactly what Devin Booker did. He cooked up.
He did. I mean, we know he's capable, but the best type of game is when you do it, and they needed this one a whole lot. I call him on balance. On balance is always going to make shots. On balance is hard to guard. He's going to be able to get you off. He's strong. He's old school. Love to still see him post up a little bit more. That 3-ball was working, and I love the way they played defensively and give DeAndre Ayton. He was aggressive offensively as well, but the hero for them, Torrey Craig, keeps knocking down threes and keeping the Clippers, off balance because of how many shots he's making in these first 2 games.
Yeah, 5 threes by Torrey Craig, all 5 starters in double figures, and we called it the core 4 before the game. They needed that extra boost, and that's the difference in a 14-point win as opposed to a loss.
Yeah, it is. I mean, if Torrey's not knocking down these shots, they keep applying pressure and they keep closing the gap on these great shooters and players. But what he did was just said, hey, I'm going to knock down shots. Instead of inching in more, they started inching back out, and then they gave more room for those stars to score.
Kawhi Leonard and Russell Westbrook for the Los Angeles Clippers. Okay, Kawhi started the game in the first quarter was amazing. 8 points, 5 assists, 4 rebounds, 1 steal. Was like, okay, this is one of those games. Russell Westbrook in the second had 12 points. Russ finished with 28 on 9 of 16 from the field. Much better shooting night than he had in game 1. Kawhi, 31, 8, 7, and 3 steals. Just wasn't enough, but those 2 guys came to play.
They did, and Kawhi would have had more. But the double team, by the Phoenix Suns at the right time just took his aggressiveness away. But, wow, is he playing at a unbelievable level, MVP-like level, especially since the second half of the season. Love how he's carrying his team. He's defending, doing a nice job of defending one-on-one. He's getting back to being that claw on defense. But the machine, the robot, is really coming into his own again. We're seeing Toronto Kawhi in these first 2 games.
So now that we've seen the first 2 games play out, tied at 1-1, do you think one team has the advantage over the other?
No, I don't. Not right now. I think the separation will start to come, maybe in game 3. All these adjustments you'll get a chance to see, and then everybody will start to take away more things as they look at film, and it's going to be tough. And the series starts when you lose a game at home, and it started for the Phoenix Suns. The one thing I will say is Kevin Durant only played 47 games in this regular season. He looked good, but I still think he's starting to get in a rhythm with his teammates and getting more comfortable. I think as the series goes on, the more games, you'll see more of Kevin Durant.
All right, looking at the news around the end between Clint Capella and John Collins, let's focus on the positives with Bogdan and Trae Young. What did you like from them in tonight's game? definitely an improvement from game one.
Yeah, I think, Trey didn't shoot as well like you want him to from the three ball, but he got into the paint. He didn't settle. It went quick, and I didn't think he needed as many pick and rolls. I liked the way he played. I mean, didn't have enough to obviously win this game, but he looks much better. He looked much better than game one. Still would love to see him off the ball a little bit more so he can run off screens and be more effective. I like Bogdanovich the way he played, Onyeka the way he played, but I just think, like you said, when you have Collins and Capella combined 4 for 15 just for 9 points, that's tough. I mean, I thought DeAndre Hunter was more aggressive, but to shoot 19 shots to give you 18 points and no free throws, and also you got to make your imprint. I mean, for DeAndre Hunter, two-way player, mostly defensively, you got to disrupt those wings for your team to have a chance.
Yeah, as far as the big men go inside, Onyeka Okongwu arguably had the best game, 8 points, 9 rebounds. But still, how can they get more from their starting members of their front court?
I'm not sure. I mean, maybe it's, that's what Quinn Snyder's going to have to look if maybe playing Onyeka, maybe they have to start in lineup, maybe bringing one of those guys off the bench. He's going to have to find a way for them to be productive. If not, you got to make some kind of lineup change or shakeups. It's just 2 games. But it's not just 2 games the way they've lost these. Sometimes you look and say, hey, I feel good going back to Atlanta. They can't feel good right now. And obviously coming back to Atlanta will be great for them, their crowd. But the way they've lost those games can't feel good coming back to Atlanta.
We've addressed some issues for the Atlanta Hawks, who are down 0-2. Remember, in the franchise's history, 24 times that they've trailed 0-2, they have never come back to win a series. Quinn Snyder is back up against the wall. Here he is at the podium.
In transition, and that really, now we're playing from behind for the majority of the game. But again, I think it was a 9-point game with like 7 minutes to go. So, similar situation, we're right there. And obviously they're a really, really good team. And at that moment, I think we missed something at the rim and they hit a couple threes, and all of a sudden the lead bumps back up. But we just got to continue to play together. And I think we've touched some things that we need to continue to do and just do it for longer.
How difficult is it when you do make 16 threes in a game like this, but it's and defensively, like, you're forcing them into some tough shots, but they're just hitting those shots? Like, does that get disheartening to some of the guys in the locker room at all?
I think our focus is kind of take the shots we get, and the way that they're shifted, if those shots are open, we want to take them. I still feel like when we've turned them down and, we get into traffic, the result isn't as good. So, obviously Tatum, it's hard to guard. You get to points where we, hit him on the pass, hit him on the dribble, and then you're in rotations, and they've got some other guys out there that can shoot the ball too. So we just got to keep grinding. It's you hear people say it all the time. That's why it's a series. We lost 2 at Boston. Now we're going home, and we've got to learn from tonight's game and be better.
Hey Quinn, the game was tied when Malcolm Brogdon hit that buzzer beater. Could you talk about the impact of that shot?
Yeah, that's tough. Sometimes those things when they go into halftime, can deflate you a little bit. But I think more than anything, I really felt like we were playing really good basketball, and kind of lost a little bit. And then, that shot obviously was impactful. But we had 2 more quarters to play too. So, we needed to put that behind us, and I think we did.
What have you seen from Marcus Smart so far this series?
Well, I said last year, he had my vote for Defensive Player of the Year. I've known Marcus since he was in college, not really well, but just respected him and his leadership and, all the things that he does on the floor. So, obviously, he's an elite defender. And I think his ability to communicate really is what makes him even better. But he's on the other team right now, so we got to do a good job attacking him, and moving him around, and we got to do better.
in the second half, it seemed like you guys kind of turned up the physicality, particularly in the fourth quarter, but it seemed like you guys played a little bit more physically. How do you kind of challenge that into games 3 and 4?
Yeah, I think when Tatum got going, we had to be more aggressive. The game dictated that, and sometimes, that puts you into a mindset. But I thought the same thing offensively. We started attacking, and then when they collapsed, we moved it too. And that's something that we're still kind of trying to find and make